7:30 a.m. It's all about the day-to-day activities in the Nigerian political space, views of political actors from various political parties on political process, views of labor leaders, and most importantly, your views. Views of the common Nigerian. Tune in to everyone at 103.5 FM or you join online via mixlr.com/gistfm every Monday and Saturday. What are your political views? Keep a bet. Listen to news updates on Ebonade 103.5 FM immediately after Angelus 6 o'clock a.m. and 6 o'clock p.m. weekdays. Stay tuned to be updated, to be informed. News updates, live reports. Ebonade FM brings the news with actualities.
And believe that if we are hoping for a new Nigeria,
you can as well listen online via mixlr.com/gistfm.
Good evening and welcome to Ebona, the 103.5 FM news update. Today is Thursday, the 12th day of January 2023, and the time is a minute past the hour of 6. Martin Ifan Shukwekize is my name. The headlines. Anambra government investigates case of woman killed by husband over bread. We are behind you, Anambra monarchs, assure Obi. Enugu PDP distances self from APC 1.3 billion naira fraud protest. Gunmen kill 4 in Anambra. Russian troops close to seizing key town in eastern Ukraine. Now, the details. Anambra government investigates case of woman killed by husband over bread. The Anambra state government has commenced a probe of the death of Ogochukwu Anene, allegedly killed by husband Wilson Wadiegu. Ifeanyi Binabo, Commissioner for Women and Social Welfare, spoke on Wednesday in her office in Oka while receiving the deceased mother, Mrs. Cordelia Anene. Ogochukwu Anene, better known as Adoka, was beaten to death by her husband over a loaf of bread. Obinab said that the state government was collaborating with the Enugu government in the investigation to get justice. The deceased is from Anambra. The state government will not keep quiet over the unfortunate incident. The commissioner promised that the authorities would make sure a thorough probe is carried out and concluded in record time. Obinab urged women in abusive marriages to always speak out and seek help instead of dying in silence. The bereaved Madam Cordelia stated that the husband fled immediately after carrying out the act. Presidency, we are behind you, Anambra monarchs, assure Obi. Traditional rulers in Anambra State have thrown their weight behind the presidential aspiration of the candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, responding after the Labour Party candidate addressed them at Government House, Oka, ahead of his campaign in Anambra State. The monarchs said although they are not politicians, they too want good things for their subjects. Responding on behalf of the traditional rulers, Igwe of Ogbono, Sunday Okafor, prayed God to help Obi realize his ambition as the president of Nigeria. The royal father said, "We are not politicians and don't play politics. We have known Obi right from when he was the governor of Anambra State, and we witnessed his good performance. We commend you for coming out to contest for this position, and we urge you to continue soliciting for people's support. We are backing you," he declared. Enugu PDP distances self from APC 1.3 billion naira fraud protest. The People's Democratic Party in Enugu State has distanced itself from a Monday protest by aggrieved members of the All Progressive Congress against the state APC chairman Ugochukwu Agbala and its APC governorship candidate Uche Nnaji over their alleged involvement in a 1.3 billion naira fraud. The PDP said it would not have bothered to speak on what should have been an APC affair, but for the allegation against the party and its governorship candidate Peter Mbah of sponsoring the protests. We called on the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to step in to investigate the weighty allegations broadly made by well-known APC party leaders against the duo of Chief Ugo Abala and Chief Uche Nnaji, the report says. The Director of Communications and spokesman, Enugu State PDP Campaign Council, Nnanna Obodo, noted that it was not a fight between the PDP and the APC, but squarely a fight between angry and deprived APC members and a greedy and conceited party leadership. While addressing newsmen at a press conference held at the Peter Mba campaign headquarters, Independent Layout, Enugu, on Tuesday, Obodo said the protesters who stormed the APC National Secretariat in Abuja on Monday alleged that the chairman of the party, Abala, and the governorship candidate, Nnaji, were involved in a 1.3 billion naira fraud in the state, with their leader and chairman concerned members of Enugu State APC, Adolphus Ude, telling newsmen that they were at the secretariat to vent their anger over the matter and asked the party's national leadership to wade into it, according to reports. Reacting to the APC's accusation that PDP sponsored the protest, Obodo said, "We have, as usual, been dragged into a purely APC affair by the loquacious Ugochukwu Abala, and who has claimed that the protesters were sponsored by the PDP. Of course, Abala's penchant for looking for scapegoats rather than face his demons is legendary. Ordinarily, the Enugu State PDP should have no business with the self-confessed fraud, embezzlement, and impunity going on in the Enugu State chapter of the APC, except to say that they have further exposed to the world that they have no good intentions for Enugu State. Besides, the APC has never been a factor in elections in Enugu State, let alone now that all the key stakeholders of the APC in Enugu have abandoned the party to Ugochukwu Abala and his godfathers. If the APC was in the ICU before his controversial emergence as the state chairman, the party has now been effectively embalmed and consigned to the mortuary by the totalitarian, greedy, and corrupt leadership of Abala and his two godfathers, he affirmed. Gunmen kill four in Anambra. Unknown gunmen on Tuesday killed four persons at the popular Bank Road in Ihia, fueling renewed fear in the area. It was gathered that the four people, including a pregnant woman, were killed in their houses and dumped on the street. A resident of the area told newsmen that following the incident, traders at the popular Nkwo Ogbe market, Ihia, could not open on Tuesday. He said, "We woke up to see the four dead bodies and we could not ascertain who killed them and the circumstances that led to their death. Later, we saw a vehicle drive to the area and removed the dead bodies." Most traders were afraid to open their shops, but normal business has resumed on Wednesday. Anambra State Police Public Relations Officer PPRO, Mr. Tochukwu Ikenga, said operation is ongoing in Hiala to fish out those responsible for the killing. Omoagege credible enough to govern Delta. Engineer Abudu Bakaya, who made the assertion shortly after the meeting with the APC governorship candidate, Senator Omoagege in Warri, in the company of High Chief Michael Johnny, described the Deputy Senate President as the best candidate among all other contestants for the office of governor. According to him, wise leaders like Senator Omoagege are rarely found in politics these days, adding that the Deputy Senate President has the leadership experience that crisscross both the executive and legislative arms of government, having served as one-time secretary to the Delta State government and commissioner for special duties under the eventful administration of Governor James Onanefe Ibori, before going to serve as the Deputy Senate President. He reiterated that Omoagege has the charisma, emotional intelligence, and expertise to administer the natural and human resources of Delta State to achieve accelerated development. He said that wise leaders are those with foresight who apply good reason, experience, and observation to achieve their vision, while also considering the non-rational and subjective elements when making decisions due to their orientation, which makes them see beyond self-interest for the common good of the society. The APC stalwart noted that as a leader of the South-South caucus of the ruling APC in the Red Chamber, Senator Omoagege has proven himself by ensuring that things are done properly to bring in fresh angles to inspire new ideas among his colleagues, in addition to thinking outside the box as much as possible to enhance the legislative business as well as attracting meaningful development to the South-South region, with particular reference to his own senatorial district, Delta Central. where he has made a tremendous impact on the lives of the people. The Deputy Senate President, Senator Omo Agege, is an amiable personality that can be entrusted with the resources of Delta State to manage as governor. He has been a one-time executive assistant to former Governor Ibori and later became commissioner for special duties, he recalled. He is a very diligent and focused leader who is always ready to bear the burden of his people, sometimes even at his prayer, Engineer Abadu Bakay said. Now we move over to the foreign scene. Corpses cover the ground. Russian troops close to seizing key town in eastern Ukraine. Russia is close to taking control of most of the salt mining town of Soledar in Ukraine's east after a month-long battle with Ukrainian forces. Ukrainian officials said the first fighting is bringing new levels of death and devastation in the grinding battle for control of eastern Ukraine that is part of Moscow's wider war. Everything is completely destroyed. There is almost no life left, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said of the scene around Bakhmut and the nearby Donetsk province city of Soledar. The whole land near Soledar is covered with the corpses of the occupiers and scars from the strikes, Zelensky said. This is what madness looked like. Russian troops, alongside fighters from the infamous Wagner Group, a Russian private military contractor, have advanced in Soledar and are likely in control of most of the settlement, the UK Defense Ministry tweeted on Tuesday. He said that taking Soledar 10 kilometers north of Bakhmut was likely Moscow's immediate military objective and part of the strategy to encircle Bakhmut. But he added that Ukrainian forces maintain stable defensive lines in depth and control over supply routes in the area. The Wagner Group's leader, Dmitry Prizonin, confirmed in a post on a Russian social media platform on Tuesday that his forces are fighting in the area and acknowledged heavy battles in the Soledar against a Ukrainian army he said bravely fights. In Russia, two signs emerged on Tuesday that officials were grappling with the military shortcomings revealed during the conflict in Ukraine. Military communications and control systems will be improved using artificial intelligence, officials said, and troops will be given better tactical gear and equipment. And NATO Secretary General has warned that the Russian military is far from defeated. You shouldn't underestimate Russia. They are mobilizing more troops, working hard to acquire more equipment, ammunition, he said. They are showing a willingness to actually suffer but continue the war, he declared. This is where we draw the curtain on news updates on Ebon at the 103.5 FM. But before we leave, a quick look at the headlines. Anambra government investigates case of woman killed by husband over bread. Presidency, we are behind you. Anambra monarchs assure Obi. Enugu PDP distances self from APC. 1.3 billion naira fraud protest. Gunmen kill 4 in Anambra. Russian troops close to seizing key town in eastern Ukraine. You just listen to news updates on Ebona at the 103.5 FM. News produced and read by Martin Ifan Shukwekizi. Thank you for listening to Ebona at the 103.5 FM news updates. Once again, good evening. Please subscribe, all right?
After Angel 6 o'clock a.m. and the 6 o'clock p.m.
Yeah, guys.